In India, dry ice is mostly used in the food industry, so I'd like to get a bit more clarification on dry ice as a cleaning agent. Maura, perhaps, I mean, there's a number of resources we could point our viewers to, but perhaps you could just recap in very simple terms how or where it's used as a cleaning agent.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that it's like in a lot of factories and to clean molds and things like that. So you're using the pellets to just blast clean off, like, all the residues that have built up over time. So, and it's much more efficient than, using chemicals or water or something else. It's a lot less messy. It just sublimates after you're done. So there's a lot of companies that make those blast cleaning equipment. It just, and it works very, very well. I mean, I've got a gas stove. I'd like to have somebody come blast clean for me because I can't heat it up if hard enough to get, anything off the sides of it. So, I mean, it's really a very, very useful, environmentally friendly tool. And, the equipment is not very expensive. My understanding is Jeff probably could comment more on that. Um, and, and I think Stephanie's been involved with blast cleaning as well. So, I mean, it's just all you do, you're just using your dry ice for a different purpose, but you've got to use pellets to do it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Maura. And I think you referred to this earlier, but I know it's in your CO2 Market Report 2025, published in the April US edition, I think, that actually that dry ice blasting alone has grown at least 10% annually over the last 5 years. Was that right?
Yeah, I think it's been what we've seen is it's probably longer than, yeah, I said 5 years probably today, but I think it is on the order of somewhere between the last 5 to 10 years. It's just really taken off. And when you can have, something that's so much more environmentally friendly, it makes a lot more sense, a lot less mess to clean up in terms of expense and all of that. I think it's just worthwhile. Yeah. So I think the growth from what I've seen, it's grown substantially.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll add if I could. And I honestly, I don't think anybody could add to it more than Stephanie, as her parent company is one. I think if I'm not correct, correct me if I'm wrong, Stephanie, but they were serial number 00001 of one of the original cold jet blasters, 23, 24 plus years ago. So they've been doing this a really long time. And my view of that market and the blasting market is it's really just getting started, because for a long time the equipment wasn't, it froze up a lot, it had a lot of problems, it was hard to deal with, you're dealing with ice and nobody understood it. But then you also had the marketing challenge of nobody understood what this was. What are you doing with blasting and ice and utilization? Cold jet specifically. And now there's other products on the market, and we sell one as well now. They're much more simplified machines that work great, and the process works great. And now there's a market awareness that blasting using ice is a great solution. As Maura said, there's no cleanup. Your medium is sublimation of gas into the air, where it came from to start with. So the only thing you have to clean up is whatever you blasted off. So whether it's paint, whether it's your stove, tire molds, bread companies, you got to get in there. You don't want to use sand to blast your freezer conveyor belts where the bread and has stuck to it, or pasta or whatever else it is. So there's great applications for it, which is why you're seeing this tremendous growth, because of the market awareness combined with a high quality product offering now. And now it comes down to high quality ice is critical to make the product that much better and more effective. And that's why you're seeing this growth. And I would anticipate seeing continued and expanded growth across the world in all of these applications, including India.
Fantastic. And Stephanie, let's open it up to you. Let's take this opportunity. Do you think we're still at the start of an even bigger growth curve here?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff, for touching on that. Yeah, our parent company, CMC Industrial Services, was really one of the first to really take dry ice blasting and open it up into the market about 20 years ago. So it has been expanding. It will continue to expand. I'm always fascinated when I get to go on to job sites where we're doing work. I've never been in a facility where I haven't seen it clean how it would have been brand new when it was first delivered. That is just such a fascinating process. And how you can fine tune it where, you know, if you're trying to dry ice blast into whether it's electrical paneling or something like that because it's non-corrosive, it's a pretty fascinating process. Or if you need to, you know, you're at a nuclear plant and you're doing something on top like that, whether it's rust, it really can blast off pretty much anything. And no secondary waste, no water waste, FDA approved, all of those things really play a part when you're in these big manufacturing facilities. So that has been an awesome process to see. And I think some people get nervous about, it's dry ice and how does it work and all of those things. But I think what's been helpful for us too is doing demos. So going into these facilities and saying, hey, we'll come in here and we'll show you how it works. We'll even help train your people if that's what you want to do, or if you want our crews to come in. There's a lot of different options you can do there. And also the quality ice is what comes to it. Since we manufacture our own dry ice on site, when we have a job, it's usually manufactured the day of the job they bring it there. And so it keeps that quality pretty much as best as it can be. It was produced within a few hours, and keeping those 3mm pellets as high density as possible. And that's what I would say as well. I know there's some dry ice blasting equipment where they can take blocks over pellets, but in my experience and what I see for back, the pellets I think have worked better for people. I also think you have to be very crucial of how you're doing that process. You need to make sure, you're using a dryer so there's no moisture coming through. I mean, some people, they buy the equipment and they're not as knowledgeable right away. So they're wondering why it's not working how, they were told it was supposed to be working. And then there's little things that come into play to make sure that you're getting the result that you need. So I would say that's probably an industry that we're really seeing dry ice blasters pushed more than even 2 years ago. So yeah, I'll be interested to see, what that looks like. Automotive is a big industry as well, where people are, doing automotive restoration on the undercarriages and things like that. So the opportunities for dry ice blasting is pretty much endless. I've never seen it not work. So it's pretty awesome.